Welcome to The Passion Pod with your host, Chris Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the feature presentation.
Season 1, Episode 3.
Here we are back again for Episode 3. I'm excited to share another wondrous conversation with all of you. I hope y'all ready for this. Today, we have myself, Chris Johnson, owner of Passion Board Shop, as well as your host with the most sultry and satisfying vocals you've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. And introducing my partner for this episode, a most illustrious and respected man in the Eau Claire community, the owner of the sticker spot, the man himself, James Crosby.
Yo, yo, yo. Happy to be here.
Hey, welcome, man. Kick things off for us a little bit. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Oh, boy. I'm just a guy. Like to do all the fun stuff. Fun, my favorite three-letter word, right?
Yeah.
I skate, bike, hang out with my family, do anything I want, pretty much. I live like the best life, dude. I do exactly what I want to do.
I feel the same, and I think that's why, obviously this podcast is supposed to be like-minded people.
Sure.
And that's why we're friends, is
Sure.
because, hey, we're both dads, we own our own businesses,
Yep.
doing our own thing,
Yep.
have tattoos, swear, skateboard,
Right.
whatever.
No one's going to tell me which way to go.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So I like to start off usually with every episode. Probably
For
a lot
sure.
of people who are listening to this don't know who you are yet.
Sure.
If you can quick tell us, how can people follow you? Where's the best way to contact you?
Well, I'm on all the social media platforms, email, phone, obviously, but I try to be kind of hidden even too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
in my industry, there's really never enough people doing what I'm doing. So
There's too much demand.
there's too much demand. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's almost like another realm to a lot of people when you get involved with just the computer and the graphics side of things. Like people get really overwhelmed and
Sure.
they're not really sure where
Yeah.
to start. But I don't know. I grew up in Southern California, skating, surfing, just hanging out, enjoying the sun. Decided one day that I wanted something different and got in my little hoopty station wagon and drove to the Midwest.
Damn. What
And,
year was that you drove out here?
Yeah, 2005, 2006, somewhere around
How old
there.
were you at that time?
20.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Did you know people out here or no?
My grandma. Yeah, my grandma
Sick.
moved out here. She grew up in Michigan, and then she actually bought a house in Norco, California back in the day when she was, having kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, bought it for $35,000. Had it for 30 years.
Sure, yeah.
Sold it for $500,000. Crazy.
Yeah, I just sold a
crazy.
house I bought 7 years ago for a 50%, more than a 50%
Really?
profit.
That's
nuts.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And even in just 7 years.
Yeah,
that's
it's crazy.
super rad. Well, Eau Claire's growing crazy
Yeah.
too.
Well, tell me, so you're from Southern California,
Yeah.
and I guess let's brief a little bit with what it is that your business does, right? It's called
Sure.
the Sticker Spot. So
Yeah. obviously,
you make stickers only, right?
No, well, that's why I joke about this at work all the time. We're going to have to change our name to the T-shirt shop because, just lately we've just been doing T-shirts like crazy.
Yeah.
It's almost taking
There's
over.
just a lot of demand.
There really is. And for everything that we offer, our big thing is no minimums and no setup fees. So you can come in and get one shirt or you can come in and get, 100. It really just kind of depends on what you need. But my spiel is, this is what I tell everybody, is basically we're a custom shop and we make custom stickers, custom t-shirt, custom hats. And we have no minimums, no setup fees. You can usually get something made same day, fast turnaround time. The biggest thing to stress on is the no minimum orders and the no setup fees. So you can come in with an idea and we'll turn it into a graphic, basically make you a logo right there, put it on a shirt and send you on your way for $20.
I thought you were just doing that because we're friends.
No,
That was
yeah, right.
the homie hookup.
No, that's everybody gets that deal. But it keeps it fun, man.
Right,
It keeps it, creative and new and fresh. And
Sure. So you create pretty much anything, but talking about vinyl is what that's what I knew you for doing, right? Is like the big vinyls you do on cars and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Do you do embroidery, engraving? What exact, because you don't do screen printing, right? It's a different.
I do, but it's different processes for different situations.
Sure.
You know, so for instance, you got, you know, a school is going to order, you know, 200 t-shirts.
Uh-huh.
You know, for me to pick and peel 200 t-shirts, you know, I'm going to lose my mind by the time I'm done. You know, whereas silk screening, you make one screen and then you use a wet application of ink to, you know, transfer to the t-shirt and put the design on the t-shirt. So it's just different processes for different things. You know, everything has a look, and you want that specific look for whatever it is you're doing with the product.
Sure.
You know? So if you're giving them away, if you're wearing them, or if, you know, something fun or something just, you know, for a one day thing, you know, there's all different types of situations for, you know,
that must be something that just took a lot of experience to kind of like figure out, because I know I did screen printing in high school and I've tried it since, and I know there's like the heat pressing and sublimation. There's so many different things, but all of that stuff, depending on exactly what your setup is like, you know, you need to be to the second with heating on this particular thing, or the different, you know, materials don't bond the same way for whatever.
Yeah, that's a lot of trial and error for sure. I mean, you can read books, you can, you know, learn from the master or whatever, but really it's just tricks of the trade. Right. You know, you figure them out as you go. You know, like not everybody's setup's exactly the same. Right. So, you know, you just kind of figure it out.
Sure. You didn't just like learn this in a book, right? You did something.
No, it's all self-taught.
Oh, it is all self-taught.
Yep.
I thought you worked underneath somebody at some point. Or
I guess when I first started, I was at like a little like kiosk in the mall.
Oh, okay.
And we were just selling, you know, we had 500 sticker examples and they're $6 a piece, and you just, you know, you pick one off the board and then I make it real quick and then give it to you.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's the original way the business was designed to work.
Okay.
Which is what I was actually trying to do when I moved here.
So you did that in California?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. When I moved here, you know, back there we have millions of people that come through our mall every year. Right. Here we have like 250,000 that comes to the mall. And I'm sure that, you know, with the internet and everything, that's going down. Yeah, for sure. So right away I saw a problem with how I would produce a profit here versus, you know, California. Right. So I just kind of switched it up a little bit and kind of opened it more for like everybody and decided, you know, like to be more just forward thinking with it and, you know, doing more like small businesses that are starting to open and trying to save on cost in the beginning. Right. You know, so give them a way to have that option still. Right. You know?
Well, I mean, that's obviously super important in business, right? Is you have to look at like what is needed in this particular community. So like for myself with the skateboard shop, it didn't make sense to open it before I did. Sure. I opened it. So we got our first public skate park in Eau Claire in July of 2013. Okay. And I then opened my skateboard shop in April of 2014. Sure. So, but before that, there wasn't a need for a skateboard shop because there wasn't a place for it.
Was created, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then once it was created, it was like, okay, this is something that exists. And with like what you're saying, I think what you're getting at really is, hey, I noticed that there is a need for this. Yep. I can provide this. So why? It just
I almost
makes sense.
Created a demand in a sense because
for sure.
I opened an option that wasn't always available before. Yeah. You know, you go, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar, you go, you know, to these bigger companies that are more, you know, business oriented and stuff like that. And, you know, there's minimums and, you know, you gotta spend $500 before you even place an order, you know, sometimes. So yeah, I saw a lot of people struggling with that. And I mean, just logo design, you know, settling with something on Vistaprints rather than having the option to create something that was more personal, and, you know, connected to them. Right. You know, so you're right. I saw a demand and I saw an opportunity to create a demand and found a way to make a living doing it.
Yeah. You found your niche and it obviously has been working. You've been in business now for how long?
It's going on 5 years.
And you've been expanding, right?
Yeah. I started in my basement.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the first time that
It was
I...
more like a hobby kind of at first, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started telling my friends and telling people that I was making stickers, and, you know, it just kind of snowballed.
That's how I met you, right? Is because you did some banners for the indoor skate park, and then I had you
Sure.
do some
That's
decals
right.
on some cars and stuff, and
That's
then it
right.
was like, wait a second, you can make
And
other
the funny
stuff.
thing is, too, is when I moved here, you were like one. I had heard about you, and like
Wow.
you were one of the like skater dudes, you know, like you were
Sure.
like there wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
skater dudes back then,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of skating going on. But Eau Claire's kind of weird about that, with
Yeah.
the ordinances and stuff.
Right.
So, but anyways, yeah, I had heard about you. It was right when you opened your shop, and I was like, oh, that's rad, dude. Like, I was like super cool, you know,
Yeah.
super supportive and stuff. Yeah, and then I didn't actually meet you, until Urban Roots opened.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a little while in before. I mean, I think
Sure.
it was like a knowing in passing type thing, but
Mhm.
but yeah, obviously, like I think maybe a name change is possible because
Sure.
I thought you just did stickers. Like that's
Sure.
all I thought that
And
you
most
did.
people think that too.
Sure, but what would you say is like the motivation for why you got into working for yourself and doing this part? Is it because you enjoy creating stuff, or like what was the real motivation behind doing that?
You know, I always had a passion for stickers and stuff growing up.
Okay.
You know, like I
Just
would
like
go
sticker
to.
bombing your doors. and
I
stuff.
love stickers, dude. I don't know what it was. Dude, when I was a kid, you know, I would go to Warped Tours, and like I was from California, so we had Do Tours, Warped Tours. We had, you know, all the big, huge surfing and skating events and stuff. And the first thing I would do every time growing up as a kid is I would raid all the vendor booths and get as many stickers as I could. You know, like I'd always come home. I didn't buy anything.
Yeah.
You know, I would just go and get as many stickers as I could, you know. But yeah, I always had a sticker box when I was a kid. Like everything I owned had tons of stickers all over it. Like I just was that way. And like now that I'm older and I can make any sticker that I want, I have no stickers on anything. It's really strange, but
You just like
you know,
the clean look of it now.
yeah. Right now my
Sure.
car's just clean. I like that. You know, I
Sure.
don't. You know.
So talking about motivation, I don't have a problem staying motivated. Honestly,
I don't either.
I do it way too much because I'm so interested in what I have to do.
Yeah.
You know, but there are like some things of the job that I'm not super into, and it's
Sure.
hard to maintain motivation to get those types of things
Totally
done.
get that.
So I guess I'm wondering with you, what's like some of the things that you have to do or services that you offer that aren't like you make money on them or something, but it's not really what you love doing.
There's
And
actually a lot of things.
how do you stay motivated, I guess, through that as well?
Yeah, like I said, you know, I kind of created the demand. So a lot of my clientele ask me, they're like, okay, well, you know, I'm getting my shirts done from you. I'm getting my stickers done from you. I got my hats done from you. Can you do my business cards? Can you do, you know, flyers? Can you do yard signs? Can you do, you know, I need a big sign for, you know, in front of my building or whatever. It just kind of stemmed into all these things. And like, that's why our motto is, if you can think it, we can make it. Cause like whatever you can imagine, like I'm positive I can help you achieve it, you know, or create it. A lot of people ask me like, well, what are your services? What do you offer? And it's like, there's so much. It's hard
Sure.
for me to tell you exactly what it is. That's why we're more of like a custom shop.
Well, that's why it's so unique, I think, for
It
sure.
is.
Because you go to FedEx or something and you're expecting like, okay, I can look at what the price is of a
Yeah.
banner and
Right.
it can be any of
Here's
these
the
individual
range.
sizes. But like working with you, I've been able to say like, hey, dude, I want to put like a big sign on the side of my building
Yeah.
with a different color.
Yep.
Can you do that? And you're like, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I got guys that bring me, I got a guy that brings me a canoe paddle once a week. Seriously, he paints these canoe paddles,
Okay.
takes an old canoe paddle, refinishes it and makes it look all super cool. And we'll do like, green and yellow, and then we'll do like Go Pack Go and put it on these,
sure.
you know, things. And then he sells them for whatever, you know, or
Right.
gives them away to friends or whatever. But from things like that, he comes in and spends $5, but all the way up to, you know, I mean, I just did a life-size Air Jordan in a kid's bedroom
Whoa.
not that long ago. It was, you know, like 6-7
Yeah.
feet, you know, he's all spread out and stuff.
Yeah.
So it took up the whole wall in this kid's bedroom. And then he has all his Jordans and, you know,
That's
sneakers
crazy.
and these boxes and stuff. So it like themed his room like boom instantly.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did a Harry Potter themed nursery for, you know, my buddy was having a baby. So we
Yeah.
went and did all kinds of really cool quotes and did them in the Harry Potter font and stuff and like tricked out his whole nursery. So like there's so many things that we can do.
Right.
And I kind of just, you know, tell everybody, I'm sure you can use me.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to
Instantly.
figure out how. But I mean, schools, I really want to get into schools because I go to my kid's school and I walk down the hallways. And I'm from California, so we had like outdoor schools, we didn't have like hallways and it's dark and dingy in there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even if it's clean and perfectly fine, but you walk in and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm like trapped in this building,
Yeah.
It's almost like a facility, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to donate a bunch of inspirational quotes or, something to like kind of flow down the hallways or whatever to my kid's school.
That's really rad. Just because you want to do something creative,
exactly,
that kind of
thing.
I
think it would be really fun. And it's something that, my son can look at and be like, whoa, cool, my dad did that. I don't know. I think it'd be just really fun and cool. And I think there'd be a lot of people that get joy out of it. Yeah, I mean, it gives me that opportunity to be creative.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I love working with you because the no minimums thing. But one of the things that I like about owning my own business is the fact that I can just do anything I want, And granted, I have to take the brunt of the financial hit if it isn't something that makes sense. But I can just like think of something and go, I wonder if I can do this, you know. And recently, like you said, I made up this snake design that has nothing to do with skateboarding, but I just got a snake myself, so I'm like, this is cool. And then
we were kind of wondering where that came from. The snake. We were like,
I just got a ball python. I came up with that design, and I'm like, I wonder what I can do. And then I'm just like looking through the internet on, what are blanks that I can order?
Sure.
I wonder. And then I put a little mock up and text you like, hey, would you want to make this?
Yeah.
And right away.
4 days later, they're done, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, that was quick. That's cool. I love the fact that we can do that. And I can see how you wouldn't get bored or wouldn't get too demotivated.
Different.
Yeah, there's just new stuff.
I think probably the hardest part would be just because there is so much information. A lot of people think they know exactly what's going on because they've dealt with all these other companies before, right? And they're like, oh, I've dealt with this guy, and he was really particular on how it has to be done, and so I'll get him to you just like he wanted me to get. And I'm not that way. I want you to see where I'm coming from and get on the same page with me. I guess just like really anybody in the industry, but.
Well, I think that's one of the unique things about small businesses, though, and why people choose to go them and support them is because they like to have that relationship with who they're purchasing from.
For sure.
And then they get a totally different experience. And it's nice for yourself, too, because if you build this relationship through giving them good service and they trust and they respect you, you can tell them, like, hey, man, this doesn't make sense financially. What I'm going to have to charge you, like you said, right?
Exactly.
I got some koozies or whatever, and you're like, dude, but for what it's going to cost to print on these, I would just advise not to do it. And then I can trust you, and I'm not mad because you didn't send me back with a quote that was outrageous.
Right.
You just told me.
I told you how it was.
Yeah, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's go a different route.
I'm not trying to sell you something.
Right.
I'm trying to offer you a service. If I can help you, I can help you. But if I can't, then I'm going to show you in the direction that you need to go.
That's something so cool. And we talked about that on the last podcast. When you work for yourself, there's no ulterior motive because you're not trying to fulfill somebody else's vision. You're not trying to make anybody else money. You want to do what makes the most sense for your business, which is going to be pushing these people in the right direction because your reputation is going to be a lot more important than any individual sale would be or project or whatever.
My clientele is super strong.
Yeah.
Super happy customers, man. I mean, I have a lot of people that come in and say, you know what? I priced around and you were $1 more than the next guy, but I enjoy working with you. Yeah. And like, I will always come to you.
I would add though that you're a lot more than $1 under a lot of projects.
It really just depends on what it is.
Of course.
It really does.
One thing I wanted to ask you, because this happens, like I order stuff from you and for real though, I give you stuff and sometimes you're like, dude, I can do it today. And no problem. Like you'll skate it over to my shop because your shop is really close by.
Yeah.
But then other days, I'll text you and I'm like, like what's going on? And it hasn't been long or anything.
Sure.
It's been a few days or something. And you're like, dude, I was at my shop till midnight. I guess one question I want to ask you is, for myself, it's pretty much 10 to 6 that I work. I don't really have to do too much outside of work. I kind of know what my hours are. For you.
You're retail though.
So for you, how do you balance, the work-life thing? You got kids
that's
and
the
stuff.
toughest thing. It really is. It took me a really long time to figure it out. And to be honest, I still don't have it figured out. I mean, with the kids, it makes it really complicated. Because the whole point was to be around, you know what I mean? And be available, and which I totally am. So like if something, my kids are obviously a little older now, so they're in school and stuff, but first, when in the beginning, summers, I would just like pretty much take the whole summer off, and I would not work during the day and more work during the night and stuff like that, and kind of hang out with my kid and not have to pay daycare because that was like outrageous. But nowadays, it's just a little different. My kids are a little older. They're a little more self-reliant. So now I can hold like a 9-to-5 schedule, but it happens, dude. I mean, sometimes I have deadlines constantly. Some things you got to wait on materials, and you just can't foresee all the things that, that can get in your way. But it is still a battle. And I mean, even anybody that works for themselves will tell you that it'll never be on a smooth playing field. Right. It's always going to be rocky, but you just do what you can when you can, and you go to sleep happy every day because you don't have anything else stressing. You know what I mean? There's nothing else that's like stressful about it.
Yeah, you don't have a boss or anything. And and one of the cool parts, even if you have deadlines, the truth is, like, if you've given this person good service in the past, I consider most of my clients, at my store to be friends, at least at a certain level. And I feel like if you're honest with them and say, dude, like, this material's taking longer for whatever reason, like, I'll do my best, but
90% of the time that is fine. That other 10% is because of what we do. I make stuff for bachelor parties, birthday parties, pub crawls, events, a lot of events that are happening on a certain date. Yeah. And if I can't get it done in time for that date, then you don't need the product anymore.
Right. That makes sense. So
that's just, I think the hardest part about it is I feel like it's cool. It's for your shop. So it's like, if I'm a day late, like, it's not a big deal.
Right.
But yeah, if you were throwing a big party and, you had dates written on your shirts and I give them to you a day late, you're going to look at me like, really, dude?
Right. Well, and I suppose it's hard because you don't want to turn business away, right? So
I never want to say no, but
you have to at some point. You have
to sometimes.
Because otherwise you're going to have the better you get at your job or whatever, the more people are aware of you, right? Yeah. Your reputation grows. You're just going to, and that's why I know you have an employee now, but you're just going to keep getting more and more and more opportunities for work or to make money. But at some point you got to go like, dude, I've worked for myself because I want to enjoy myself too. Right?
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I dipped out early. I dipped out an hour early and went jet skiing for the rest of the day. And like it was 80 degrees out and sunny. You know, I took advantage. So
yeah. I mean, it's just one of the unique things about working for yourself is money's always going to be available. You don't have to follow any schedule, and you can be flexible. You know what you have to get done, but you can get it done and when, whatever works for you. If you need a weekend off, you don't need approval. You can just take the week. I mean, you got to accept the consequences.
You do, exactly.
You can just take the weekend off if you want.
Yeah, you can really plan out your life a little better.
Yeah.
Like I'm not required. No one tells me I have to go. If I can't make that deadline, I'll tell you I can't make that deadline.
Right.
It doesn't happen very often, but like I said, like you were saying, sometimes it's the same day, sometimes it takes time, but it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Sometimes,
Yeah. Well, like I said, again, if you're like open and honest with people about why and you've given them good service in the past, they're going to understand.
Honesty overtakes all.
Absolutely.
You're coming straight forward. You're shooting straight and tell them, like you were saying, you never want to say no, but at the same time, you want to steer them in the proper direction. So, a lot of people will just say no rather than explain to them why they should do it this way instead of that way.
Right.
Whereas I just say, hey, like, this is what it is. This is the best way this way, and this is another option this way. This one's going to be this price. This one's going to be that price. This is going to be this look. That's going to be that look. Give them all the levels so we're all on the same page.
Right.
And then, usually it just goes smooth from there.
Well, I bet a lot of people just take your advice after they work with you a little bit anyways, right?
Yep, for sure. The one thing that people expect of me and I'm not super good with is colors. Like they just think that, you're in this industry, what colors are good together. And I'm like, I am, but I'm no art major or nothing. There's a million colors. Like, I don't know the best options.
Sure.
But I know what looks good and what doesn't, so, but what I think is cool and what you think is cool might be two totally different things. Yeah. So I really urge people to like come into the shop, get a feel for what's going on. I have product there you can touch, feel, try on.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. You're in the second floor of Banbury, which for all of our friends, Banbury's, it used to be this huge tire factory back in the day.
Factory,
That Eau Claire was So many people work there. But anyways, when it went out of business, all the property value went down. It never really recovered. It's still this huge warehouse, and there's a ton of stuff being in there. There's so many different businesses and
there's
stuff.
Hundreds.
Yeah,
Hundreds.
and I mean, they do the art crawl type thing through it.
That's our building. It's
Right.
Building 13. It's the one off of Galloway Street, the historic stores. But there's a lot of more studio type building or offices, I guess, or studios, whatever you want to call them.
People are artists working out of
there are more artists. There's like 5 people that are straight up oil to canvas artists. Like that's
Cool.
what they do.
Yeah.
They don't have their door open when they're there.
Mhm.
You know, they just go and
That's
that's
just
their
their
safe place to paint. Originally, when I moved there, that's what it was for me. I started out in my basement, like I said, and once it started snowballing and I started to get random people that I didn't know contacting me to get work done, I had to bring them in my basement, you know, and my kids, upstairs sleeping. So it just kind of was time, for something different. And Banbury's been, it's on the marker. Everybody knows where Banbury is. It's kind of like a cool old industrial, feel
absolutely.
to it. It just had a really good vibe to it.
Yeah.
But like I said, when I originally went there, it was just going to be a work studio. It was just, I had clientele.
Right.
So I didn't really need walk-in traffic.
Right.
But now with the art crawls and I'm getting so much more exposure and people are like, wow, this is available. I had no idea. So it's starting to become more of a walk-in shop, which brings me back to why I was explaining to you about sometimes you can come in and I'll make it right then and there, because I'm waiting on material for my other job. So I'm just kind of sitting around like cleaning the shop or messing with this, that, or the other. So, someone comes in and says, hey, I need 3 shirts by tomorrow. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do these right now. Just hang out for 20, 30 minutes and I'll just smash them out quick. So
that's exciting though. That's really cool. You get to have a different experience every day.
Every day
you kind of get to just do, whatever you want within reason.
Especially unless we get like a 200 t-shirt order and then we're like slaving away for 3 days to get this done.
One of the cool things about working for yourself is that you get to have the most unique experiences that you just wouldn't have working for anybody else. There's not emotion attached to it. And based on the employee handbook, like what the expectations are.
Yep.
But when you work for yourself, you get to have really, really cool experiences that really make it all worth it. So I guess I want to start off because I'm like excited to talk about this. This happens to me all the time, and it happened to me the other day. But one of the things that I just really love is when a kid comes in for his first complete, right?
Sure.
He's maybe had a Walmart board or something, but he or she for that matter. But they come in and I get to explain everything to them, like maybe use something this size, but whatever you want, and take the board off the wall for them, and then go pick out the trucks and the wheels, and what do you want to do with your grip tape?
Sure,
maybe we should cut out flames in it, or like we do something really bad. We want to make something super special for you, and the kid's like really into it. I show him what I'm doing when I'm cutting the grip and putting it all together. But the really special moment for me, which was really awkward at first for me, was the first time a parent said, hey, can you take a picture with my kid with his board?
Sure.
And I was like, if you really want me in it. But after I did a few times, it kind of clicked in my head, like this parent and this kid chose to have this special occasion with me.
Sure.
And they were so happy and had such a good time that they want me in this photo.
For sure.
And that's so special because
for sure.
I would, you know what I mean? I remember when I got my first board and stuff.
Yeah.
So
totally.
it's cool to be like a part of memories
it wasn't like that, was it? It was a totally different
My first board was from a deck from Shields that I gripped myself.
You just went and grabbed something. Right, yeah.
Right. But the fact that I know I get to be a part of, if that kid sticks with skateboarding.
Well, you inspired thought.
Yeah.
You inspired thought in this kid, and, who knows where that's going to go. You kind of laid the foundation for what's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. So that for me, that's one of the most rewarding things that is like, it's not financially rewarding beyond like they bought a skateboard, but it's a much more lasting effect on me of like, this is why I'm doing
I think a lot of self-employed people kind of get that on a day to day just because like the whole process is up to you, you're the one that spent the hours in front of the computer, looking at all the cool boards and like picking out the ones that you thought were cool and, you thought people would really enjoy. And then, when that person, points at it and you're like, yeah, Like, I remember sitting there picking this board out, and I'm stoked that it's going to this little kid. And yeah, all right, now let's get some trucks that match and like get some good wheels. And, of course, at that age, like, they don't really know any different, but you just set them up in the right direction. And, it's a learning. Even skateboarding is like, you learn what you like over the period of your life skateboarding.
Right. But it starts with the people that influence you.
Starts with the people that influence you.
Right. So,
and you gave them something that was legit.
Can you name, one or two things that over your almost 5 years that stick out to you as being like, I'm so glad I got to have that experience?
Sure. Well, I've been actually making stickers for like 15 years. So like I've been doing this since as long as I can remember. I mean, 18 is when I started doing it.
Yeah.
And I've had so many, dude. From start to finish, I'm creating a product. So the whole process is pretty fun for everybody involved, for the client, for the whoever's receiving it, or, just myself creating it. And it's so personal and stuff too. So it's really hard to like pinpoint one specific time, but I hate to say this, but I really love doing like memorial decals. As terrible as that sounds, right? But the level of emotion that's involved, you're making something really special for a person to memorialize, someone that was really special to them. It's a really good feeling, like doing that and just like helping out. But I mean, the one specific case, I guess, would be probably not a memorial, but I donated some stickers to South Middle School, and like I was coming back to doing the schools and stuff.
Right.
And the kids' response from it and like the community's response from it was like super cool and super satisfying. And I had no intentions of creating that. A lady reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm a teacher at South Middle School. I'm getting a grant for doing this like amazing thing," because she's an amazing teacher, right?
Right.
She came to me and was just kind of like, "I'm really open to doing some stuff." And so we just kind of sat there and talked about it and came up with some cool inspirational like quotes, and then added some graphics to them and stuff like that. And then just went and put them in like the kids' bathrooms at South Middle School. It was awesome. And I think I ended up getting on the news. Like they were talking about me on the news and stuff.
Sure.
Just the response from that was just really cool. And like, made me feel good that, I did something positive for my community and, all that stuff. So
that's another thing that is just, again, unique about working for yourself is you get to give back and stuff and be a part of things that are special like that. When if you work for somebody else, you got to reach up to your higher ups and be like, what are we allowed to donate? But when you can just take those opportunities,
I'm going to spend all day not making any money at all. Is that okay, boss?
Yeah, exactly. But I know what you mean, because I do all kinds of contests and stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
Those times when you can see all the excitement, enjoyment, the happiness that you're bringing to somebody.
Makes it all worth it.
Yeah. And it happens, like you said,
daily.
Often.
Real
often.
I mean, for me, it's a daily occurrence. You know, every time someone comes in to pick up their product and you see the smile on their face and how you just made their party that much more special, or, their kid's birthday party that much more special, you know, and like just these little things that you're doing and creating such a huge impact, I think is awesome. Well, and I'm stoked to be a part of it.
It's new, really, what you're doing too, because well, not making stickers being new, but like when I was growing up, right, you play like the first Tony Hawk video game, right? And you're looking at the boards and you're like, I'm going to skate this one.
I want the birdhouse one.
And you always dreamt like, God, if I could have my own thing on this, you couldn't do that before. And in the last 10 years with the internet, that's changed where people have customized stuff more now, but it's still not common.
It's still not completely custom.
Right. And so I'm sure when people come to you and you explain, like, no, really, like we can create anything you want, and they're like, really?
Yeah, it makes them second.
Yeah, and then being able to be a part of that whole process, and then getting to the finish line of that process, and then them seeing like, holy shit.
Sold. Like the whole way you're making it, they're just like, dude, I love this. This is great. And then they just kind of get quiet, and they're just like, You've already done exactly what I expected, and now you're going for another 20 minutes. This is insane. So and then when you're done, they're just like, whoa. Like just watching you, draw on the computer so quickly, and you captured exactly what I was looking to capture.
Right.
The level of satisfaction I get on a daily basis makes it all worth it. I mean, I don't care if I go the whole day and I don't make any money at all. I'm happy at the end of the day, and I got a smile on my face, and I come home and I infect my kids with that, and I infect my family with that happiness, and you can't put a price on that.
Absolutely. Powerful stuff, man. And I very much agree with you on all of that. I don't know how I could ever go, work for anybody else again after having the types of experiences and being so fulfilled by my career. I don't see how I could do anything else.
Right.
That being said, moving forward, so in the last 5 years, right, you started in your basement. That's where I first came and saw your shop. And I knocked on the door and I'm like, what?
Yeah, right.
Like go downstairs.
Is
like,
it the left door or the right door?
Cool,
it's
yeah.
Duplex, I don't know.
And then you moved into Banbury Place. But shit, I mean, honestly, it seems like you're almost outgrowing that space already.
I'm already outgrowing it. Yeah.
Now you've had an employee for a while, for that matter.
Yeah. Well, I hired my best friend.
Yeah, there you go. Well, so what's, I guess, next on the horizons? What are you hoping to do?
I need a bigger shop. I really want to stay at Banbury just because of the whole camaraderie of, everybody that works there. It's like a big family. We kind of all help each other out. And
right.
I like the collective nature of being around a lot of other artisans and people that have creative outlook on life and stuff. Yeah. And it just, some days I'm having a bad day or I'm busy week or whatever. I can just pop out of my shop and walk down to, Shelly's shop down the hallway and, just start chilling and talking to her and, kind of take my mind off of everything that's going on and then come back with a fresh perspective. And I really like being at Banbury. So eventually I'd like to just get a bigger space there, preferably something maybe with windows or AC because it's super warm in the summer.
Yeah, especially with your big old beard on your face.
Big beard. And I've got 3 irons at 350 degrees cranking stuff out. So there's other things that swayed me away, but I really like being at Banbury and I just need a bigger space is really all it's come down to. But, like I said, I started out in my basement, which is great. It was huge, had plenty of room, but it was in my home. And then, when I moved to Banbury originally, I was just trying to get out of my home. So I ended up getting it was like a 12 by 12 office. And I was there for 3 months. And I was like, dude, this is too small. I need something bigger. And then I went to 600 square feet. And that was great. And at first, with the shop, like I said, it was just a studio. I wasn't really having any walk-in traffic. So I wasn't really concerned about what the shop looked like. And so when, as the time went on, I started bringing cool stuff from my home and just trying to make it a little more comfortable, mostly for myself. And people started catching on and they're like, dude, this is cool. Like those things are cool. Like these are rad. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, right? I just started buying more boards and buying more cool pictures and art that I saw or, really unique frames and then printing my own pictures and then, putting them up there. And, I have 20-foot ceilings and I have wall to wall artwork.
Yeah, they're totally covered.
They're totally covered.
Yeah.
And it's all super random stuff from old skateboarding stuff to just old historic photos, cool local artists and just artists that I respect a lot. I buy a lot of their pieces and stuff. And cause I don't know, when you walk into my shop, you get a sense of who I am right away. Yeah. You're like this dude is into these things, he's, big into tattooing and surfing and skating and biking and all these things. And you can tell that just by walking in my door.
Well, I think that's really important because people are choosing to do business with you as a person. And as they get to know you, it's not the sticker spot. It's James. They just want to hit up James to get their shit done. So it makes sense that you want to have that kind of vibe.
It made sense. And I kind of ran with it. And, now it's cool. Now I come into my shop every day and I'm just like, okay, I could work or I could hang up this new board that I got.
Shit, look at my store.
Yeah, you know what I mean? No, I know. Every day I come in there, you're trimming plants and stuff and making your shop that much cooler, right?
Yeah, my shop's wild looking. If you've never been in it, it's cool. A city overgrown by trees that grow skateboards.
It's got a really cool vibe in there too.
But it's comfortable for me, and I'm kind of excited for when snow hits the ground and I get to go inside a green space.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you got the nature right there inside.
Let's each try to give one helpful tip for people that are listening. If it's go out and start
yourself.
Something. Yeah, be yourself. So I guess I'll start. Here's my helpful tip for this episode, and that is stick with your gut and believe in yourself more than anybody else because the vision you have, only you see it clearly.
Yeah.
Everybody else is trying to paint the picture in their mind based on what you're saying and giving you advice because of that. They're not going to be able to do it for you. You know what it's going to take. So take people's advice, take people's feedback, learn from those things, but don't let it muddle your ideas. Don't let it stray you from the path of what you want to create, and believe in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that's great advice, man. I mean, and that's how when I started the business, that's exactly how I took it. And everybody was like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to do this, and I'm going to have fun doing it, and I'll see you in 5 years when I'm still doing it. You know what I mean? And, and I'm still happy now. But, a lot of people when starting a business, there's all kinds of things that weigh on you, right? You got rent, and you got, or mortgage or whatever. You got your car payment, you got insurance, you got all these bills and food. And, if you throw some kids in there, then you got a whole nother thing, to really think about. But, if you trust your gut and you commit you have to give everything. You really do. Yeah. You have to commit your heart and soul into it. And just do it, man. Just don't be scared and just go for it. Even if it doesn't work, whatever, go through that, right? Life's all about trials and tribulations, right? We just got to move through them. So, you figure it out. Just don't be scared. It'll all work out. And even if your business goes bankrupt and you lose all your money, whatever, dude, you're still breathing, man. Your kids are still alive and everything's gravy. The sun's still shining, and you can do something else tomorrow. You can always go get a job at Taco Bell. But yeah, just don't be scared, I guess, would probably be my biggest thing. And trust your gut. That's good stuff.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Passion Pod. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you soon.